Vanessa Clarke sat in the back of her polished black sedan, scrolling through back-to-back meeting notes on her tablet as the early Manhattan traffic crawled forward. Her schedule was a machine, precise, unforgiving, and she expected the same from everyone around her. When the car finally pulled up 2 minutes later than planned, her jaw tightened. That was all it took. 2 minutes. Without raising her voice, she gave the order the moment the vehicle stopped outside her glass-walled headquarters. "You're done. I don't tolerate delays." Her tone was cold, efficient, final. Ethan Cole didn't flinch. From the driver's seat, he simply nodded once, as if he had expected this outcome long before it arrived. He stepped out, closing the door gently behind him, his movements calm and measured. There was no argument, no apology, no attempt to defend himself. Vanessa had already turned her attention back to her tablet, dismissing him from her world as easily as she dismissed a cancelled meeting. To her, he was just another replaceable employee who failed to meet her standard. Ethan adjusted his worn jacket and began walking down the sidewalk, blending into the rhythm of the city. The noise of horns, chatter, and distant sirens filled the air. People brushed past him without a second glance. He looked like anyone else, quiet, unremarkable, invisible. But his eyes moved differently, scanning reflections in glass windows, tracking motion in passing vehicles, noting details most people would never see. Still, he kept walking, as if none of it mattered anymore. Vanessa stepped out of the car moments later, her heels striking sharply against the pavement as she headed toward the entrance. Her assistant hurried beside her, listing updates she barely listened to. The world was under control again, back in order, just the way she liked it. Then, without warning, the sharp screech of tires cut through the air. A black SUV swerved violently and stopped just feet away. Doors flew open, masked men jumped out, their movements fast, coordinated, deliberate. For the first time in years, Vanessa froze. The city noise seemed to drop into a distant echo as fear gripped her chest. Her assistant gasped, stumbling backward. Down the sidewalk, Ethan stopped walking. For a fraction of a second, he stood still, then slowly turned his head. The calm expression on his face didn't change, but something in his posture shifted. His shoulders squared slightly, his gaze sharpened, and the quiet driver Vanessa had just fired was suddenly gone. In his place stood someone else entirely. Ethan didn't hesitate. The moment he turned, his body moved with controlled speed, closing the distance before the attackers could fully surround Vanessa. The first man lunged, but Ethan intercepted him mid-step, redirecting his momentum and sending him crashing hard onto the pavement. The second swung wildly. Ethan ducked, pivoted, and struck with precision, disarming him in one fluid motion. It all happened so fast it barely registered. To Vanessa, it looked unreal, like watching someone flip a switch from ordinary to lethal in an instant. The remaining attackers adjusted, trying to regroup, but Ethan was already ahead of them. His movements were efficient, calculated, each action serving a purpose. He didn't waste energy or time. Within seconds, the advantage they thought they had disappeared. One by one, they were forced back, their coordination breaking under the pressure of someone clearly trained far beyond anything they expected to face. The chaos that erupted felt sharp and contained at the same time, like a storm focused on a single point. Vanessa stood frozen near the car, her breath shallow, her mind struggling to process what she was seeing. This was the same man she had dismissed moments ago without a second thought. The same quiet driver who never spoke unless spoken to. Now he moved with a level of control and awareness that made everything else seem small and unprepared. Fear mixed with disbelief, leaving her unable to look away. In what felt like no time at all, it was over. The attackers were down, scattered and stunned, their plan unraveled before it could fully take shape. Distant sirens began to grow louder, cutting through the tension that still hung in the air. Ethan stepped back, his breathing steady, his posture relaxing as if the intensity had never existed. He glanced once at Vanessa, his expression returning to that same calm neutrality she remembered. "You should be more careful who you let go," he said quietly, his voice even, almost detached. Vanessa opened her mouth, but no words came. For the first time in years, she didn't have control of the moment, or even her own response. Before she could gather herself, Ethan turned away again, just as he had before, and walked back into the moving crowd. This time, she couldn't ignore it. As he disappeared into the city, one truth settled heavily in her mind: she hadn't just fired a driver. She had let go of someone she never truly understood.